Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. It's Friday, September 11th, coming to you live from our studio in Seoul. I'm Kim Mo-kyun. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. 6 months have passed since the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 pandemic. Many countries are still suffering, with the total global cases surpassing 28 million and deaths topping 900,000. U.S. President Donald Trump dismissed speculations on North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's health, tweeting that Kim is healthy and that he shouldn't be underestimated. And South Korea has been elected as a member of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee for the third time, becoming one of the 24 states parties. Now we start with the COVID-19 situation here in South Korea. The country reported 176 new COVID-19 cases on Monday, staying below the 200 mark for the 9th consecutive day. Of them, 161 were locally transmitted and 15 were from overseas, bringing the total number of cases to over 21,700. A cluster infection of 25 infections have been reported from a kimchi factory in Cheongyang County, Chungcheongnam-do Province, and there have been 18 cases from Yonsei Severance Hospital in Seoul. 4 more deaths have been reported, raising the death toll to 350. South Korea has seeing a downward trend in daily COVID-19 cases since enforcing tighter social distancing guidelines in the greater capital area. Health officials are looking to announce whether to extend or reduce the measures on Saturday. Our Han Sung-woo reports.
By tracing the movement of mobile phone signals, the South Korean government announced Thursday that since social distancing level 2 kicked in, people have generally been staying at home more.
After analyzing mobile phone data, we found that human movement has decreased by roughly 20% compared to right after social distancing was upgraded to level 2.
Health officials also say that the past week saw COVID-19's rate of infectivity drop to below 1, meaning that on average, 1 patient is responsible for less than 1 further transmission. The southeastern port city of Busan, starting Thursday at 3 p.m., decided to ease restrictions on 6 out of the 12 so-called high-risk facilities, meaning PC and karaoke rooms are able to operate, albeit at a limited capacity. But this comes amid concerns for the livelihoods of those who are self-employed and is not necessarily a sign that the worst is over. The government warns that COVID-19 is still very much at large, especially in the capital region.
We're still on high alert as slight jumps in new cases have been observed over the past few days, with some regions seeing a rise in unidentified transmission routes.
Authorities will decide this coming weekend on whether to maintain level 2.5 social distancing measures in the greater Seoul area. Han Sung-woo, Arirang News.
Today marks exactly 6 months since the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 pandemic. 6 months later, global cases have topped 28 million and deaths have surpassed 900,000. While China, where the virus originated, has declared victory over the pandemic, many countries around the world are still suffering from the disease. Our Kim Jae-hee has a wrap-up.
More than 2 months after the first case of the COVID-19 was reported in Wuhan, China, at the end of December last year, the WHO declared the virus outbreak a pandemic.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
In just half a year, the virus has infected more than 28 million people globally and killed over 900,000. What's more concerning is that the number of deaths increased by a whopping 100,000 in just around 20 days, after the number exceeded 800,000 on August 22nd. By country, the U.S. continues to have the largest number of both confirmed cases and deaths. Europe, which has seen the spread of infections slow down, are again seeing cases rise in countries like France, Italy, England, and Spain. Meanwhile, uncertainties surround the development of vaccines. Scientists are warning against fast-tracking vaccine trials as AstraZeneca, one of the leading vaccine developers, announced it's pausing stage 3 human trials after one participant showed signs of a potentially serious adverse reaction.
I think this is a good, perhaps a wake-up call or a lesson for everyone to recognize the fact that there are ups and downs in research. There are ups and downs in clinical development, and we have to be prepared for those.
China, on the other hand, has recently celebrated victory over the pandemic.
In the life and death battle against a serious epidemic, the Chinese people and the Chinese nation have demonstrated the fearless spirit of having the courage to fight and the mettle to win.
Beijing is also touting the progress it has made on vaccine development, with makers hoping to have their vaccine candidates approved as early as year-end. A sentiment the rest of the world fails to share, with many still suffering from the rapid spread of the virus and the devastating economic fallout that follows. Kim Jae-hee, Arirang News.
International donors have so far raised $700 million to purchase the future COVID-19 vaccines for poor countries in a global initiative to ensure vaccines don't only go to rich countries. However, according to the World Health Organization Thursday, the amount is less than half the $2 billion target. The WHO says more work must be done to diversify sources of funding in order to meet the goal. The project aims to deliver 2 billion doses of approved COVID-19 vaccines by the end of 2021. Just a day after more details of personal letters between the leaders of North Korea and the U.S. were disclosed, U.S. President Donald Trump commented on Kim Jong-un's health. He said the North Korean leader is in good health. Our Kim Hyo-sun reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump took to Twitter on Thursday saying that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is in, quote, good health. He wrote that one should not underestimate him. Although he did not explain further, it seems Trump is dismissing months-long speculation that Kim may have serious health problems. The statement comes just a day after Bob Woodward disclosed parts of letters exchanged between the leaders of Washington and Pyongyang that will be in his upcoming book, Rage. As for the health condition of the North's leader, America's top diplomat declined to comment when he was asked Thursday during an interview with Fox News. During the interview, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo once again called for Pyongyang to return to dialogue to bring about the regime's complete denuclearization and a bright future for its people. Denuclearization talks between the two countries have stalled since February 2019, when the two leaders held their second bilateral summit in Vietnam, but walked away without reaching a deal. Pompeo elaborated that his mandate continues to include full denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. He also pointed out that the regime faces many challenges, especially related to its economy and the spread of COVID-19. Amid such difficulties, Pompeo expressed hope that Washington can provide humanitarian assistance to help many suffering in the north. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
The head of the U.S. Forces Korea says there are no signs of provocation from North Korea, as the regime seems to be too tied up with the recent floods as well as the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at a webinar hosted by Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies on Thursday, USFK Commander General Robert Abrams explained there are pundits who forecast the regime could be rolling out a new weapons system marking the 75th anniversary of the founding of its ruling Workers' Party on October 10th. However, he said the regime is not showing any signs of provocation, adding that things are, quote, pretty calm and steady along the border. Tensions continue to rise at the de facto border between China and India as both armies increase the number of soldiers while also positioning tanks around the area. The latest move comes as both countries accused each other of firing weapons into the air earlier this week. Our Lee Seung-jae has the story.
Earlier this year, the Chinese and Indian military clashed, leading to hand-to-hand combat, which reportedly led to the deaths of at least 20 Indian troops and many others injured. Earlier this week, both countries accused each other of firing gunshots into the air, the first time gunshots were exchanged in 45 years. Now, both countries are ramping up their military readiness. The Chinese military has reportedly been deploying strategic bombers as well as transport aircraft in the Tibet region bordering India. In addition, live ammunition air defense drills have been conducted in Xinjiang in northwest China. India has also deployed 7,000 additional troops as well as tanks. fighter jets, and Apache helicopters were also deployed. With no actual border in the contested area in Western Himalayas, the two countries have long fought over even the smallest portion of the land. While the two agreed not to fire any weapons, the exchange of gunfire may have sparked yet another level of clash over the contested border. Watchers say with the two sides continuing to raise their military presence in the region, it could take just one slight move before a full-on military clash occurs in the area. 이 승재, Arirang News.
South Korea has been elected as a member of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee. At the 8th session of the General Assembly, South Korea won support from 80 out of 146 countries. This means South Korea can be part of the final say on whether a property is inscribed on the World Heritage List, as well as defining the use or allocation of funds. This is the third time South Korea has been elected to the Committee of States Parties. The term of office is usually 4 years, but a country cannot serve consecutive terms and has to wait 2 years for another chance. British actress Diana Rigg, famous for starring in the TV series The Avengers and the Game of Thrones, has died at the age of 82. Her daughter said she died peacefully in her sleep early on Thursday, following her cancer diagnosis in March. Born in Northern England, Rigg won numerous Emmy Awards during her decades-long career. She was recently best known for her role as Olenna Tyrell in Game of Thrones. Her daughter said she spent her final months joyfully, reflecting on her life with pride in her career.
For her new house in London.
Good morning. Rain is in the forecast across the country. Jeju and the Gyeongsang-do provinces will see rain from the middle of the afternoon. Then parts of Gangwon-do province will see rain in the evening before the showers spread to Jeollado and Chungcheong-do provinces at night. So eastern parts of Gangwon-do province could see up to 80 millimeters, while the rest of south will see 5 to 40 millimeters into tomorrow. Meanwhile, the rest of us will be under cloudy skies. So rain-affected regions will have highs that are 1 to 5 degrees lower today. Daegu will get up to 25 degrees. Seoul will be at 27 degrees Celsius this afternoon. Jeju and the East Coast will see rain into Saturday. The capital, however, can expect dry and pleasant autumn weather this weekend, but the wide temperature differences between lows and highs will continue. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world. That's a wrap for us at the hour on Arirang News. We'll be back with more of the day's headlines at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.